All right, folks, what's up? It's your boy Gary Franchi. I am sitting on the Gulf of America. You see the sun setting right behind me over that beautiful renamed body of water, and it's time for the raw feed. That's right, coming to you from Florida. Beautiful Gulf of America right behind me on this historic April 3rd, 2025. It's day 73 of President Trump reclaiming the White House. We've got our correspondent Tom McCullough in D.C. He's been there all day outside the White House, boots on the ground reporting. We've got all the exclusive news tonight. And I do need to warn you right now, what you're about to witness is not your standard news program. Okay? Do you see any of the fake news monsters broadcasting from a balcony over the Gulf of America? No, they don't. Because we do it by our rules and not theirs. Okay? This is uncensored, it's unfiltered reality that the corporate media doesn't have the balls to show you. Tonight we're tracking nothing less than a revolution in American governance. The swamp isn't just being drained, it's being detonated. The corrupt health industry is being gutted, government waste is being incinerated, and the biggest political cover-up of our lifetime is being exposed in real time. And here's what makes the raw feed different. You. That's right, you are part of the broadcast. Right now we're streaming live to millions worldwide across YouTube, Rumble, and X. I'm seeing comments flooding in from Texas, Florida, Ohio, New Hampshire. Patriots from every corner of this nation are joining us. And throughout the show, we will be featuring your reactions on screen for the world to see. Your super chats and Rumble rants get priority between segments. And yes, I see them coming in already. So here's a tip. Text the live streaming link to 5 friends right now to bypass the algorithm because big tech doesn't want this information spreading. But they can't stop us when patriots share directly. And while you're at it, make sure you are following us on Rumble and X because we all know what happens when you rely solely on YouTube. Now, tonight's lineup is explosive. Laura Loomer walked into the Oval Office, the binder full of names. Hours later, 3 NSC staffers fired on their asses. RFK Jr. bulldozing through the corrupt health establishment, eliminating toxic food ingredients that have been poisoning our children. Elon Musk and DOGE are staying put, and the left is having an absolute meltdown over it. Trump's tariffs are reshaping the global economy, and it's American workers who are winning. And perhaps most shocking, Ron Klain's new book reveals Operation Bubble Wrap, the systematic cover-up of Joe Biden's mental deterioration that's left us asking, who was really running the country? And look, I'm going to be honest with you, bringing this level of truth comes at a cost. The powers that be don't want these stories told. That's why we need your support to keep this operation going. Check the description below to make a donation and help us continue exposing what the mainstream media just won't touch. Before we dive in, I want to remind you about our brand new merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Exclusive limited edition Next News swag lets you proudly display where you get your real news. And of course, we have our channel memberships on YouTube, multiple support tiers, each with exclusive perks, including direct access to the Next News team, behind-the-scenes videos you'll never see published on the channel for the public to see, as well as a 24/7 live real-time chat room for our best members only. Yeah, you can share memes, you can share videos, articles, have discussion. You can even have video and audio chat with other members. Yeah, I don't think the mainstream media does anything like that for their people. So buckle up, Patriots. Set your phones down. Tell the kids to be quiet and pay attention because this is the raw feed. And tonight we are blowing the lid off of Washington's biggest secrets. So let's begin by welcoming you to the show. Who do we have in the house? We got Keith. We got John. We got John Wagoneer. We've got Smart Bomb 007, Teresa in the house. Don't Tread on Me, Alessandra, Richard August, R. Boyd, Duty to Rebel. We got Blue. We got Donald Brisby, Jessica Clock, Curtis Brown, Heidi, Sarah Hakeem, Karen, Wesley. We've got John B. Kratz. We got Sammy. Remember to, we got Cindy. Remember when you're typing in the chat room where you are, what device and what city, state, location, country, wherever you're watching from. It helps everyone understand just how big the Next News family really is. Okay, what do you guys think about this backdrop? Yeah, this is the last night we're going to have this beautiful backdrop broadcasting from the Gulf of America. So tomorrow there will not be a show where we'll be traveling back to the home studio and to the frigid temperatures in the Chicago area. But hey, it's been fun while it lasted, right? So let's get into our news. Cindy's in Buffalo, New York. We got some news to get to. Tom has got some bangers that he recorded just for you guys today at the White House. So let's jump right into this. Did you notice the market had a meltdown yesterday? Well, the media certainly did. They were practically giddy about it. Trump's tariffs are tanking the markets. That's what they screamed, but they're not telling you exactly who's panicking and why the best news Americans have had in decades. Yesterday's Liberation Day tariffs sent shockwaves through the global economy. For the first time in modern history, we have a president who understands that sovereignty isn't just about borders, it's about economic independence. And Howard Lutnick put it perfectly. Why should U.S. policy suggest finding the cheapest labor with the worst conditions to sell to the American economy? How about we just build it here? Meanwhile, Ford Motor Company just announced employee pricing for all American buyers. Why? They know American manufacturing is about to explode. Treasury Secretary Bessent shut down the whiners with the brutal truth. That's a Mag 7 problem, not a MAGA problem. Tech monopolies might panic, but real America is thriving. And as we step into 2025, one thing is clear, that de-dollarization is accelerating. China, other BRICS nations are scared of President Trump, making them more determined to reduce their dependence on the U.S. dollar. And what's their secret weapon? Well, it's gold. In fact, China resumed buying gold, and they underreport their buys. They recognize its global value and ability to withstand economic shocks. Gold is tangible, reliable, and immune to manipulation. China wants to be paired, they just don't want it known. In a world of shifting economic power, gold is your personal hedge against uncertainty. Noble Gold can help you secure your future by visiting nextnewsgold.com or call that number on the screen, 877-646-5347, and ask how you can get your 10 free 1-ounce silver coins. And when you visit, tell them Gary Franchi at Next News sent you. Okay, so did you guys know there was a bomb scare at the executive office building right next to the White House today? No, you didn't see that on the news. Of course not. Okay, it was madhouse. SWAT teams, bomb squads. I mean, Pennsylvania Avenue locked down. Well, our boy Tom was there, and he captured this. Check this out.
Hey guys, Tom McCullough, White House correspondent with the Next News Network. So we've got something that's breaking right now. The police found a suspicious package right on the other side of the Eisenhower Executive Building. The bomb squad and police are clearing it now. There's an incredible police presence from what I've heard. I know that the White House has stopped all visitors. They shut down Pennsylvania Avenue in front of it. On grounds, we're looking okay because we got that giant building shielding us from where it would be on the other side. But I tell everybody when you come out here, this is simultaneously the most dangerous place in the world and the safest place in the world. I just want to say God bless and protect the people out there trying to work to clear this, and hopefully everybody's safe out there. But yeah, it's a real thing. It could happen any moment out here. So yeah, real breaking news from the White House. Again, have a great day.
Yeah, you didn't see that on the news today, did you? Of course not. But Tom was there. He captured it all. We've also got this about Ford, okay? The motor company. Ford slashing prices, jobs soaring, Trump America First agenda wins big. McCullough outside the swamp. Ford, an American Titan, just dropped a bombshell. Employee discounts for all. Now, listen to why this is important. Okay, we read between the lines here and tell you exactly what's going on. Listen to what Tom has to say.
Hey guys, this is Tom McCullough reporting for the Next News Network, and I'm standing just outside the White House on this brisk yet very sunny day here in April in the swamp of D.C. And we just received new remarks from the head of one of America's oldest car companies, Ford. And while the clip you're about to see may seem like a business announcement on the surface, make no mistake, this is a direct response to what President Donald Trump has been pushing for since day one of his second term, bringing jobs back, lowering prices, and putting America first. Now, this clip is under a minute, but it speaks literal volumes. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Exactly right. For the next couple of months, we're going to offer our customers the same deal that our employees get. And as you say, that's worth thousands of dollars. You come into our store, you get employee pricing. This is kind of to call a little bit of a timeout. We've heard some uncertainty from our customers, and we want them to be assured that Ford, the most American auto company, is going to do right by them, as are our dealers. We make the most cars here. We employ the most. We export the most. And so we here at Ford, we're in a good position to address customers' concern and give them a really great deal on a great vehicle.
So that's great. The statement coming from Ford's leadership shows a company making a rare move, one that benefits the American workers, the American family, and yes, the American economy. Ford is stepping up to calm fears and steady the market, just as Trump's trade and manufacturing policies are creating a resurgence in American industry. This was the voice of reason in a sea of chaos today. What you just heard is Ford, America's most iconic automaker, telling customers they're slashing prices and offering employees discounts across the board. Not for a week, not for a weekend sale, but for the next few months. And why is that? Because they're listening. They're seeing the uncertainty out there, and they know that under Joe Biden, American families were barely scraping by. Car prices soared, and foreign competitors had the upper hand. But now, with President Trump back in the Oval Office, companies like Ford are finally feeling the freedom to put Americans first again. Ford's decision to roll out employee pricing to everyone is not just about cars, it's about confidence. It's about telling hard-working men and women that this country's industries are back in their corner, something we haven't seen in years. It's the kind of bold move that only becomes possible under strong leadership in Washington, the kind Donald Trump is delivering every single day in his historic second term. This isn't just Ford doing a nice thing, it's a Ford responding to business environment that finally rewards American production. Ford makes the most cars here. They hire the most workers here. They export more cars and more American cars than any other company. And now they're leading the charge to make vehicles affordable again while sending a clear signal. America builds things again. And let's be real, this wouldn't be happening if Trump hadn't torn up the globalist trade deals, slashed regulations, and made it harder for companies to ship jobs overseas. And under Trump, the American industrial machine is roaring back to life, and companies like Ford are proudly climbing back into the driver's seat. So while the media will try to bury the story under a pile of distractions like they always do, don't let them be fake news, guys. What you just witnessed is the ripple effect of America First policies hitting the real world right where it matters, in your wallet. That's what leadership looks like. This is what happens when America stops apologizing and starts producing. Again, I'm Tom McCullough, reporting outside the White House, your White House correspondent for Next News Network. God bless.
Tom on the scene right there, bringing you the news that, the real news, okay? Giving you the story behind the story. Now, here we have more. This is from General Motors winning. General Motors is now going to expand truck production in Indiana, increasing overtime hours and hiring more workers. General Motors. So it's not just Ford, baby. General Motors jumping on the bandwagon, too.
Employees. We were waiting to confirm this directly with General Motors, and now we have. And you tell me if this is already a sign that things are happening in President Trump's favor. A General Motors spokesperson is now confirming there was a webcast to employees a short time ago. GM will be making operational adjustments at its Fort Wayne assembly, including hiring temporary employees to support current manufacturing and business needs. We continuously update and revise production schedules as part of our standard process of evaluating and aligning to manage vehicle inventory. This after initially Reuters was reporting on that webcast that they're going to be adding overtime hours for their employees, and they're going to be bringing some of that. They're going to be increasing the production of their light duty trucks at that American facility. We were waiting to
more big news winning. Also, we have this. This was captured earlier today. Secretary Rollins speaking in front of the White House on American agriculture lagging behind globally. However, with President Trump's tariffs, we're set to reclaim our spot as the world's top agricultural powerhouse. Listen to this.
Are Americans first? Secretary, Italy and Ireland are among the countries that are complaining about the tariffs. What's your response to these foreign countries?
Well, let me say this. First of all, yesterday obviously was a big day, and it was an effectuation of the president's vision of national security, of food security, of putting our Americans first, our farmers and our ranchers, which as Secretary of Agriculture is really what I'm focused on. I know we're hearing from countries that are kind of complaining about what's happening, but I have a chart. This is sort of shows you the exports of other countries, India, Taiwan, Japan. This is the average, 14%. Well, down here, you've got little bitty United States of America, right? I mean, this is what he's trying to fix. And for our farmers and our ranchers, for our farmers and our ranchers. They understand that there may be a short time of uncertainty, but for the long haul, as we restructure the American economy and the government, American economy and our private sector, with the government playing a role in that, President Trump's vision of using tariffs. Again, I'm not surprised there's some complaining, but at the end of the day, this president committed to putting Americans first. And as part of that are our farmers and our ranchers. I could probably do one more.
How long is short term?
I mean, I'm going to pause this for a second. The other countries are whining and crying. Oh, my goodness. Why? Oh, your tariffs are going to hurt us. Not my problem, dude. All right, America first. You heard about it? You heard?
It's because I know you had this chart that you just showed us, but financial markets are tanking today. Does Wall Street see things differently?
Oh, shut up, you fake news bastard. Shut up. You see what they're doing? They're amplifying this fake news all day long. Okay, we've been warning everybody. Yes, there's going to be growing pains. You got to rip the frickin' Band-Aid off. Everyone just, just bite on a stick and just chill the F out. Okay? Yeah, it's going to hurt a little bit. But guess what? It's like, childbirth, all right? A lot of pain. But the glory of holding that child, right? At the end, you guys know. All the parents out there know what that feels like. All the moms who've given birth, it's the same thing. All right, so the fake news media is going to amplify any little blip in the market. But this is all going to be corrected. All right, I'm seeing people posting on LinkedIn, oh my God, Donald Trump's destroying a country. No, they're just reacting to a blip. You got to think long term, everybody, long term. Ugh, makes me so pissed.
But at the end of the day, this president committed to putting Americans first. And as part of that are our farmers and our ranchers. I could probably do one more.
How long is
Can I
short
ask you
term?
about the financial markets? Because I know you had this chart that you just showed us, but financial markets are tanking today. Does Wall Street see things differently than the administration? Why are they declining so sharply?
Well, listen, y'all, we are a couple hours in. The president announced this yesterday afternoon. We knew that there would be some of that as people are adjusting. But at the end of the day, yesterday marked step one. This will be a short time of uncertainty, and then we'll move back to the prosperity that this president has envisioned, that he is so bold and so willing to fight for. And I couldn't be more proud and stand next to him. The new golden age of prosperity will move in. Again, for me, I'm really focused on our farmers and our ranchers, and that's what we'll continue to focus on. But it will reach every corner of America as we are restructuring. Thank y'all so much.
Listen to them all keep screaming. How long? How long? Oh my God. How long is it going to hurt? How long is it going to hurt? Oh my goodness. They just want to keep amplifying negative, because all they want to do is hurt the president. No weapon formed against him shall prosper. That's written down in stone. Don't listen to the fake news. But speaking of what's not fake news, here's Secretary Howard Lutnick on why should U.S. policy suggest you find the cheapest labor in the world. Listen.
Finally changing U.S. policy to protect American workers is what Donald Trump is all about. So what you're going to see is factories going to be built here. Why should U.S. policy basically suggest that you can find the cheapest labor in the world with the worst labor conditions in the whole wide world, the worst pollution, right? No environmental rules at all. Let's go build there because it's really cheap, and we'll sell it to the great American economy. How about we build it here? We use robotics here. It's cheaper than cheap labor overseas. You're going to see something completely different. You're going to see the greatest economy in the world. The Renaissance will be the greatest factories in the world. High tech. People, what are the jobs Americans are going to have? We are going to have mechanics who fix robotics. We're going to have engineers and electricians who work on these great high-tech factories. These are high-tech jobs. All you need is a high school education and training, and they're going to have great jobs, great paying, and this is who Donald Trump is going to build for.
And I understand.
Finally,
let's go. Let's keep building.
US.
Let's keep building this great nation. Here we have Kayleigh McEnany. Of course, she was once a press secretary for President Trump, talking about POTUS, Liberation Day tariffs.
They're here to stay. This is the great deal maker, the great negotiator, and he's someone who understands how to get to a good end result. And with that in mind, you set the posture that this isn't going away. These are here to stay. You've had 70 years to negotiate. That's what I think this is. The $6 trillion question, as Politico put it, is what's next. I heard Scott Bessent say, look, we have less to lose than these other countries. If in economic textbooks, we are the deficit country. They are the surplus country. The surplus country has more to lose. What that says to me is he knows these other countries have something to lose. In other words, they're going to be pushed to the negotiating table. This is the great deal maker.
They're going to be pushed to the negotiating table. Okay. $7 trillion investment in the United States. And the fake news is crying about a blip in the markets because Ireland is having a conniption fit over whatever it is they're crying about. That now it's going to cost more money to ship the Guinness into the U.S. or something. What? All right, just buckle up. Wait till that $7 trillion settles down in the United States. We're just getting started. Let's keep going. We've got, okay, check this out. Here is Senator Tim Shealy. They tariff us at up to 50% of our exported products.
Our ag sector for long-term, making life affordable for working-class families again, making sure the blue-collar jobs that are manufacturing, that bring industry back. I mean, look at our ag sector, for example. Our ag sector gets decimated by other countries tariffing our beef imports, our shrimp, our catfish. I mean, you have Asian nations dumping millions of pounds of shrimp, catfish, shellfish. Australia dumps beef into our market. They tariff us at up to 50% of our exported ag products and then dump mass-produced ag products into our market, severely harming our farmers and our ranchers. So it's about time we have a level playing field for our business. For businesses for a generation now, we've let the rest of the world take advantage of that. That has inflationary impacts as well.
Yeah, but we're not worried about it because America's getting better every day. Here is Representative Arrington. I think the economy will benefit tremendously.
Ranchers in West Texas.
Oh, my bad.
President. I think the economy will benefit tremendously, as will, again, workers, manufacturers, and my farmers and ranchers in West Texas, who, by the way, support this president on this trade battle. They want their grandkids to be able to farm and not be put out of business by subsidized producers in China, for example. So they saw him support them in their time of need when there was pain on the front end through market facilitation payments. So I think taking some of that revenue from tariffs and plowing them in for tariff relief, I think is a wise move to keep them in the game so the president can bring to heel China and everybody else so that we can get to a level playing field.
Bring them to heel, level the playing field. Here's another clip. How can you be a sovereign nation if you rely on your greatest adversary for pharmaceuticals?
Are the very people. I think these tariffs are incredible. They do so much for this country. First of all, there's the issue of national security. How can you be a sovereign nation if you are relying on your greatest enemy for pharmaceuticals, for steel, for aluminum, for lumber, for the very ships that you will need to fight them, right? It's absurd. Obviously, we need to have a base in manufacturing for our national security, but it goes so much deeper than that, Trace. We have already seen this president use these tariffs to get Mexico to control its southern border. I mean, hello, the most obvious thing in the world. We got them to stop allowing the free flow of fentanyl into this country, which murders 100,000 Americans every year. But most importantly, Trace, this president is waging class warfare on behalf of the American working class. These are the very people who have been abused and fleeced and humiliated and destroyed by an international economic order in which the American middle class is asked to bear the burden of the global elites who have gotten rich off of all of this free trade at our expense. You know, if tariffs are so terrible, how come all of these countries have tariffs on us? It's utterly, utterly absurd. What Trump is doing is reversing the trend in which we took a country built on a stable middle class, built on manufacturing, and we destroyed it with an upward funnel of wealth to the elites. And Trace, this is why Wall Street is going crazy. Wall Street is trying to short President Trump's agenda because they cannot stand that he has taken the spigot, which was turning up to the elites, and pointed it back down to the hardest working Americans, the backbone of this country.
And that pretty much says it all. Batia Ungar Sargon, thank you for coming on. Great stuff. We appreciate it.
That was really, really good commentary. Basically spelling it all out. Okay, here's more. This is the Secretary Bessent, Treasury Secretary.
Market movement.
This kind of market downdraft so far this year is not concerning you?
Well, look, in my old business, I was very concerned about market movement, and I'm trying to be Secretary of Treasury, not a market commentator. What I would point out is that especially the NASDAQ peaked on Deep Seek Day. So that's a Mag 7 problem, not a MAGA problem.
Okay, so this kind of market downdraft so far this year.
It's a Mag 7 problem, not a MAGA problem. Here we have Trump White House officials, George Beasley posting, caught countries like China cheating tariffs by producing in third-party countries. Oh, they caught them cold.
Send a bunch of parts down to Vietnam.
You said something interesting. Some countries will try to get around the tariffs by shipping their product through another country. They store it there for a couple months, and then it all becomes the sale of another country. Can you talk through how that works?
Sure. Well, we're stopping that. We don't want a situation where China, for example, might just send a bunch of parts down to Vietnam. Vietnam, puts them together in a light assembly and sends it over and says this is a product of Vietnam. At this point, we will have the kinds of tariffs we need and a broad-based tariff to stop that kind of behavior. And of course, we're going to be very, very focused on enforcement to make sure nobody does that kind of thing.
And the media uses the word tariff very broadly. What kind of tariffs are there, and how do they work?
Oh, certainly. I mean, we have, for example, rice. Japan, in some instances, will put a 700% tariff on rice. So if the United States wants to export rice to Japan, where they eat a lot of rice, Japan will charge a 700% rate on that rice. It's incredible, right? Ours is much lower. Apples in the United States, if you want to import apples into the United States, it's duty-free. It's a 0% tariff. But if we're going to go to India, it's about 50%. If you want to go to Turkey and send American apples to Turkey, it's a 60% tariff. And so it prevents it. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part are the non-tariff barriers where they use fake science or fake standards or other barriers to keep out our things.
You said something interesting.
Yeah, so there's still a lot of barriers that have to be overcome. And but this is only the beginning. The fake news is going to cry at every single market blip. But remember, these are just the birth pangs, okay? It's just the beginning, because soon that glorious child of the new American economy will be in our hands, and it's going to look beautiful. So the truth is, it's not just policy. It's economic warfare, and America's finally fighting back. The Trump administration caught China using Vietnam and Cambodia to dodge our tariffs. And as of today, that loophole is locked. They thought they could cheat their way into our markets forever. Well, they were wrong. So what we're witnessing isn't just a trade adjustment. It's the reclamation of American economic sovereignty. Our factories will roar back to life. Our workers will see rising wages. Our communities will rebuild what globalism destroyed. In China, they'll learn what happens when you cheat America. So ask yourself this question. Why were our previous leaders so willing to sell out American workers for decades? Okay, who was getting rich while our factories close? And why was the media so desperate to protect a system that hollowed out our middle class? I want to hear your answers in the comment section. And get your Next News hat or shirt and show your support for real news at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Let's keep going. We got more news. We are getting fired up. This is just the beginning of the show. Segment 1 in the can. Outside the Gulf, right on the coast of the Gulf of America behind me. You can still hear some of the children playing in the sand. It's a beautiful day here. Beautiful evening, and it's all slowly coming down. So let's get into this next big topic here. When was the last time you read the ingredients list on your food? I mean, actually read it. All those chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Ever wonder why American processed food is banned in Europe? Ever wonder why we're sicker, fatter, and more medicated than any time in human history? Well, RFK Jr. isn't just wondering, he's actually doing something about it. The Make America Healthy Again revolution is underway, and the pharmaceutical and food industries are in absolute panic mode. The new health secretary is not playing games. 20,000 bureaucrats gone. The bloated Health and Human Services Department renamed the Administration for a Healthy America. And those 10,000 chemicals in our food that are banned everywhere else in the world, well, they're on the chopping block. Okay? Callie Means, Kennedy's top advisor, just detonated a truth bomb. One thing Bobby Kennedy is not going to do is entertain comments from food lobbyists using food prices as an excuse to continue poisoning children. That's what real courage sounds like, folks. That's what leadership looks like. And we've got all the details. And just like RFK Jr. is fighting for your health against Big Pharma and Big Food, I'm fighting for your personal health too. Speaking of toxins in our food, a 2024 study revealed that our bodies accumulate these harmful chemicals over time. That's why I personally take this multi-collagen formula daily. It helps detoxify and rebuild what these industrial chemicals destroy. The scientifically formulated collagen contains all 5 types your body needs from 4 clean sources, unlike the cheaply produced collagens most companies sell. It's completely non-GMO, contains 0 artificial additives, and is free from the harmful chemicals RFK Jr. is fighting against. While Secretary Kennedy rebuilds our health system, you can rebuild your body with healthwithgary.com at 51% off. It's linked down below. Okay, so we've got this breaking news. This is direct from our source on the ground outside the White House earlier today. Tom McCullough filed this for us.
Props. Hey guys, I'm Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network. I'm reporting right from the White House again today. So what you're about to see is a very powerful exchange between Dr. Drew and RFK Jr. sounding the alarm on a global health power grab. It's about your kids, your food, and your freedom, and how President Trump's America First policies are the only firewall left for you. Let's check this out.
I've got a granddaughter now, and the World Health Organization has got its hand in a lot of the things that pediatrics do these days. Can we disentangle that? I immediately don't trust that.
Yeah, it's critical. And I think, some people are upset because we withdrew from the WHO. The WHO has become a very nefarious organization.
I look at the things they're recommending. I'm going, I don't know where this came from. Oh, it came from them? Oh, my God.
It's all driven by Big Pharma. It's driven by China. It's been driven by all these other...
And this weird sense that if one person gets it, everybody's got to get it. That's not medicine. That's not medicine.
And the WHO, when it started, was focusing on local health clinics and medical treatment and helping people expand local agriculture, the crops that have been growing for 20,000 generations.
Hold on a second. So are you saying that not gigantic centralized services are the way to go? Are you kidding me?
Monocrops and GMO crops.
Of course.
During COVID, you had mass starvation across China across Africa.
Yeah.
Because we had made a deal, you grow GMO corn, and McDonald's will buy it, and Kraft will buy it, and we're going to integrate you into the global economy. What happened is all that produce was left on the docks, and they weren't growing barley and cassava and yucca and the traditional plants that have kept them alive.
So that was Dr. Drew speaking with RFK Jr., laying bare the truth about the World Health Organization, how it's no longer about saving lives, but controlling them. RFK called it out. He said the WHO once focused on real local health solutions. It's now just a big pipeline for China, Big Pharma, and globalist control. So let's break it down. Dr. Drew, who now has a granddaughter, says he's seeing disturbing levels of WHO influence in everyday pediatric care. His gut reaction? He doesn't trust it, and neither should you. And what did RFK Jr. say? That the WHO has become nefarious, his word, and it's being driven not by science, but by backroom deals and foreign interests. And the goal? one-size-fits-all mandates for everybody. That's not public health, that's a medical tyranny. He even revealed how during COVID, global deals forced African farmers to ditch their traditional crops that kept them alive for generations, in favor of GMO monocrops. And why? Because big food wanted the profits, and the WHO helped broker the deal. McDonald's, Kraft, corporate giants, you name it. This is what globalism looks like in the real world. It hijacks your food, your medicine, and your freedoms. And you, the citizen, are just expected to obey. But here's why this matters right now. Because Donald Trump in his second term is doing what no one else in Washington has the spine to do. He's cutting ties with global puppet masters and giving that power back to who? To you, the American people. Remember, it was Trump who pulled us out of the WHO in 2020. The media screamed and cried. The global elites panicked. But Trump knew exactly what he was doing. He was protecting American sovereignty. And now, in 2025, that same fight is back. The WHO wants more power. They want new treaties. They want to control future pandemics, vaccines, agricultures, you name it, and everything. But under President Trump, we're not saying no. We're slamming the door shut. He's restoring America's independence from the WHO, from foreign entanglements, and from every globalist institution trying to undermine this republic. So when you see that clip, two men speaking plainly about the danger we're facing, understand what's really at stake. This isn't about medicine, it's about control. And if Trump wasn't in the White House today, we'd already be too far gone. What do you think Kamala Harris or Biden would have done? We'd be sold out down the river. And again, my name's Tom McCullough, White House correspondent. Stay tuned, guys. We got more stuff breaking today. God bless. Hey, guys.
All right, man. Tom McCullough breaking it down for you. Here we have more. This is from Kaylee Means. One thing Bobby Kennedy's not going to do is entertain comments from food lobbyists. Listen to this.
Or income Americans that also have the worst health outcomes. So,
okay, so she posted this. This is apparently Dasha Burns, White House bureau chief for Politico.
how are you planning to bring down the cost of being healthier in America?
Yeah, one thing Bobby Kennedy.
Okay, so here's a Kelly Means.
Not going to do is entertain comments from food industry lobbyists using food prices as an excuse to continue poisoning children. Like, that's not going to work. And I know a lot of you guys are doing that. And I think if you really back up, that's an evil argument. That's the only argument the food industry is making. Right now, they're trying to hold a gun on food prices to literally not even dispute the premise that Americans are being poisoned. We have 10,000 chemicals in our food that are not allowed in any other country. Fundamentally, American food companies make their food with different ingredients than other countries. I mean, the food dyes is obvious. It's been a flashpoint. American companies are making their products here with crude oil-derived food dyes and making the exact same product shipped into Canada with beet juice and carrot juice. So I think when this starts, Bobby's going to, and Secretary Kennedy's going to first talk about transparency, and that's what he's done. He's talked about GRAS standards. Fundamentally, what he's asking for is we need to understand what's in our food. The FDA currently does not have a list of what's in our food. They do not have a list. It's self-policing. So he's going to work with the NIH, work with the FDA to have a list of what is in our food and have post-market review of those chemicals. There's a lot of lobbying to actually prevent even transparency about what's in their food. There's voracious lobbying from industry about preventing, that's going to embarrass us. That's going to make us look bad. We, at the baseline, what Bobby Kennedy's saying on food is we need to know what's in it. We have to have accurate science on the chemicals in our food.
Look, is that too much to ask? And trust the science, right? Remember that? Trust the science. How about we trust the science about what's in our friggin' food? Oh no, but the lobbyists, they don't want you to know. They don't want their pride hurt. They don't want to be embarrassed that they've been caught poisoning you and your children for decades. Yeah. Let's get down to the bottom of it. Let's make America healthy again, can we please? The degree of dysfunction, Tudor Dixon posting, the degree of dysfunction in the healthcare system is beyond human comprehension. Step 1 of MAHA is giving patients the truth. Check this out.
Much better. This is all by design. What I always go to when we talk about how dysfunctional the healthcare system is, or people talk about how bad the websites are to sign up, all the different frustrating, how non-transparent payment is. A lot of people talk, oh, this could be so much better. This is the largest industry in the country. It's healthcare. Healthcare is the largest and fastest growing industry in the country. It's the most employed industry in the country. If something consistently is the same way, it's because the invisible hand of the system wants it that way. And the system benefits from a completely obfuscated, non-transparent system. So I think that's why it's so important, what President Trump and Bobby Kennedy have talked about, which is like the step one of MAHA is just giving patients the truth. Secretary Kennedy said with the cuts, literally departments at HHS, different agencies, sell data to each other. They protect their own data between different agencies. The degree of dysfunction of the healthcare system is beyond human comprehension.
Oh my goodness.
This is all by design. What I always go to.
It's all by design, man. It's just designed to confuse you. Okay, check this out. Here's Michelle Maxwell posting this. America needs to get back to foods and beverages made the way they were in the beginning before Big Food, Big Pharma made a pact to make us unhealthy. MAHA. Then, okay, let's take a look at this. Enriched flour. Okay, this is Ritz crackers. Back then, it was enriched flour, shortening, sugar, malt, salt, and leavening. Now, it's enriched flour, canola oil, palm oil, sugar, salt, leavening, high fructose corn syrup, soy lecithin, and natural flavor. I mean, why? Why do they have to add all this extra crap into our food? I mean, canola oil, that stuff is so bad for you. Palm oil? Why do we need high fructose corn syrup in our Ritz crackers? Soy lecithin? What is that even? What is soy lecithin? Can someone tell me what that is? Natural flavor. What is the natural flavor of a Ritz cracker? Can somebody tell me? Anyone out there on the beach? What's the natural flavor of a Ritz cracker? I don't know. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I'm on the Gulf of America right now. It's behind me. This is crazy. Okay. Oh, we got more. Holy cow. Okay. Here's more from Michelle Maxwell. Oh, boy. Let's take a closer look. Okay, here. We got ketchup. I love ketchup. Ketchup is one of my favorite condiments. Back then, it was fully ripened tomatoes, cane sugar, pickling vinegar, and freshly ground spices. Now it's tomato concentrate from red, ripe tomatoes, distilled vinegar, high fructose corn syrup. Oh, not just, it's high fructose corn syrup and corn syrup. Salt, spice, onion powder, and natural flavoring. Again, natural flavoring for ketchup? What does that even mean? That's terrifying. Ugh. Heinz, clean, they actually sell a version of Heinz ketchup now. It's called like Simply Ketchup. Like they actually have to produce a version of the original. If that doesn't tell you don't buy the new stuff, what does it tell you? Right? Holy cow. We got more from Michelle Maxwell? Oh, what's this? Okay, we got, Breyer's ice cream. You guys like Breyer's ice cream? It's not just Gatorade, it's everything. Okay, let's take a look at this classic ice cream, Breyer's. Cream, sugar, and pure flavorings. Okay, pure flavoring is still kind of confusing, but cream and sugar and pure flavoring. I'm guessing if it's vanilla extract, right? From the vanilla bean or something like that. Now it's, what the hell? Milk, cream, sugar, water, corn syrup, whey, egg yolks, mono and diglycerides, guar gum, carabine gum, salt, terra gum, natural flavor, and annatto for color. Annatto. Milk, cream, sugar. What? Why? Why do you need corn syrup and whey? Mono, just freaking milk. What is this? It's ice cream. It's ice cream. Cream and sugar. Chill it. Spin it around. Churn it. You got ice cream. Yeah. Let's keep going. Do we have any more? Here we have Nick Sortor, RFK Jr. just announced the Trump administration will now allow states to ban food stamps to be used for soda. It's a good start. Huge win for MAHA. Massive loss for Big Soda. We're not eating food. We're eating food-like substances. That's what he said. Listen.
We're flooding into all of them are getting calls every day from the big soda companies, the sugar soda and the fake food companies. We're not eating food, we're eating food-like substances. And these companies are now, just like the tobacco companies were, are flooding into the offices of your state leaders and legislatures and the governor, and they're telling him he's making a big mistake. They're telling him that they're going to stop writing checks, that they're going to run people against them, that they're going to destroy their political careers. And Governor Morrissey was telling me that he met with the soda companies this week, and they said to him, you need to be educated about this. And they said, you know, food stamps is not a nutrition program. He came in with his Diet Coke, and he said, is there anything nutritious in here? And they were like, no, of course not. But food stamps is not a nutrition program. And he said, it's called SNAP, Supplementary Nutrition Assistance Program. It's supposed to be nutrition. It's not supposed to be food-like substances that are actually poisoning us.
Oh, wow.
And so, but it takes a lot of courage to stand up to these companies the same way that it did to stand up to big tobacco.
Wow.
But these men and women, your leaders, Governor Morrissey, is standing up for you. And we all need to stand up for ourselves and take care of ourselves. It's an act of patriotism. If you love this country, you need to start taking care of yourselves.
You know,
All of
the
them
fact that we're seeing this happening, I mean, he's comparing like big food companies to big tobacco. I mean, think about that comparison. All right, the poison from the tobacco industry. Remember all those anti-smoking campaigns from years ago, over and over again? And now it's like they're drawing the same parallel with the poisons they're putting in your food. And he's saying the lobbyists are coming in. We're going to destroy you politically. We're going to stop writing checks to your campaigns. We're going to run people against you if you dare stand up against big food. Think about that. And all he's saying, all RFK Jr. is saying is like, can we just have some healthy food? Like, maybe, like, can we cut out some of these poisons you're putting in our kids' bodies? I mean, maybe that's what's leading to all the ADHD and you know, autism and everything else. It's all the garbage they're putting in the frickin' food. Finally, some frickin' sanity. Wow. Okay, here's okay. This is more from Callie Means going off on Politico in a room full of anti-MAHA lobbyists.
Of HHS. Well, right now it seems like the first priority has actually been to make a lot of cuts. This week there's news of massive cuts to HHS. At this point, about a quarter of HHS's 82,000 employees have left or are expected to be terminated. So just some of the changes here. You've laid off big chunks of offices in charge of vaccine and drug research, HIV/AIDS research, AI, funding for services for the elderly and low-income people, STD prevention, rural health, with very little lead time. Right. What do you say to people in the public who are concerned now about drug safety, about whether we're prepared for the next pandemic when these...
Oh, you want lead time? Yeah.
Cuts have happened so hard, so fast.
Yeah, I'd say to the reporters in the room and the lobbyists in the room, I mean, obviously make your case, but I'd truly ask for, as you're making it, a little bit of humility about what the voters were trying to say by putting Bobby Kennedy Jr. in this position of power. I would a little bit of humility to ask why Bobby Kennedy, along with President Trump, are the two most popular political figures in America by far. What the voters were trying to say, and I think they were right, is that the system is really on the wrong track. That the existing health authorities, just demonstrably, the NIH oversaw, and this is just consensus at this point, the literal creation of a pandemic. The NIH, whose goal is to promote American health, has overseen a devastation, just an abject devastation in American health over the past 20 years, with disease rates skyrocketing in America, leading the world of almost every single chronic disease, with rates of nearly every single chronic disease being at an all-time high among kids. There's been very little innovation with small pharma, with innovative therapeutics at the FDA. It costs $1 billion to get through the process. CMS is an agency that's much larger budget than Defense Department, that's controlled by the American Medical Association, which is a pharmaceutical lobbying group and is almost predominantly sick care. So there's real problems, and when you turn on CNBC, it's just a nonstop. It's a nonstop infomercial for pharma. It's a Sky Rizzy commercial followed by Scott Gottlieb saying how Bobby's killing people, followed by a breathless coverage of the measles outbreak and no mention of
But Callie,
the mental health crisis.
How does cutting a bunch of HHS?
Oh, shut up, Politico. Dude, right there. What he just laid out in that soundbite.
The much larger budget than Defense Department that's controlled by the American Medical Association, which is a pharmaceutical lobbying group and is almost predominantly sick care. So there's real problems. And when you turn on CNBC, it's just a nonstop. It's a nonstop infomercial for pharma. It's a Sky Rizzy commercial followed by Scott Gottlieb saying how Bobby's killing people, followed by a breathless coverage of the measles outbreak and no mention of
But Callie,
the mental health crisis.
How does cutting a bunch of HHS?
Oh, but how does cutting a bunch of HH? Shut up, Politico. Okay, we know who you work for. Okay, here's more. This is RFK Jr. announcing he's doubling the layoffs.
DC as the news. Hey, everybody, I'd like to share with you a paradox that I've encountered here in Washington, D.C. as the new secretary of HHS. Our department is filled for the most part with competent, conscientious public servants, and yet the agency has been inefficient as a whole. Over the past 4 years during the Biden administration, HHS's budget increased by 38%, and its staffing increased by 17%, but all that money has failed to improve the health of Americans. In fact, the rate of chronic disease and cancer increased dramatically as our department has grown. Our lifespan has dropped, so Americans now live 6 years shorter than Europeans. We are the sickest nation in the world, and we have the highest rate of chronic disease. The U.S. ranks last among 40 developed nations in terms of health, but we spend 2 to 3 times more per capita than those nations. As secretary, I now understand why all this money is not improving our health. HHS is a sprawling bureaucracy that encompasses literally hundreds of departments, committees, and other offices. You know how bureaucracies work. Every time a new issue arises, they tack on another committee. This leads to tremendous waste and duplication, and worst of all, a loss of any unified sense of mission.
And that's why they are laying off 10 to 20,000 and consolidating 28 divisions and renaming the agency Administration for a Healthy America. God bless them. Why HHS cuts are so necessary?
Notified that their jobs are terminated. The termination emails, which went 10,000 employees at the Department of Health and Human Services, or HHS, have just been notified that their jobs are terminated. The termination emails, which went out last night and this morning, make real what RFK Jr., the new head of HHS, has been planning since he assumed the role earlier this year. Extensive cuts to this bloated and corrupt agency are long overdue. But so far, the administration's handling and messaging about these cuts is falling a bit short. Because the problem with agencies like HHS is not simply that they employ a lot of people or are inefficient in carrying out their duties. Both of those are true, but the real problem is that these agencies are magnifying and sometimes even outright creating the very problems we're told they're there to address. The existence of the various divisions that make up HHS, like the CDC, the FDA, the NIH, and the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, are all justified as being necessary for keeping Americans healthy and healthcare services affordable. On the surface, the best we could say about this effort is that it has been a failure of historic proportions.
And that's why it's time to gut this stuff. Here's more. Laura Ingraham, we spent 4 times more than Italy on healthcare.
12th in cancer rates.
Here's more. This is Callie Means on Laura Ingraham.
We spend 4 times more than Italy on healthcare costs per capita and live 7 years less. Out of 212 countries measured, we're 212th in cancer rates. We are the highest rates of diabetes, obesity, heart disease among children in the world right now. And when I walked in there today, I felt the weight of MAHA moms behind me, the millions of MAHA moms who gave President Trump and gave Bobby Kennedy this mandate to solve this. And what would be anything other than the first step than to fire the people who have overseen this devastation and put in amazing new people like Marty McCary Jay Bhattacharya and Dr. Oz. But the media, the stenographers and the mainstream media call this an attack on science. This is an attack on interests that are profiting from kids being sick. This is a victory for MAHA moms. Of course they should be making changes.
We're going to keep racking up those victories, all of them. And fake news can keep crying, but we're going to keep making the cuts and making America healthy again, okay? So what's already happening, RFK announced a completely new food pyramid, allowing states to ban food stamps from being used on soda, a massive win for health, a crushing blow to big soda, and this is only the beginning. Laura Ingraham, you saw her, highlighting that we spend 4 times more than Italy on health care and live 7 years less. Dead last in cancer survival. This isn't science, it's a system profiting off sick kids. Firing the people who oversaw this disaster is only the first step. So consider this question. If our health agency truly cared about our well-being, why did chronic disease rates explode under their watch? Why did they approve thousands of chemicals banned everywhere else? And who was profiting while Americans got sicker and sicker? Just follow the money, right? And show your support for the MAHA revolution with some Next News swag at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, linked below. Okay, I think I saw some super chats. I'm going to address those real quick. Thank you guys. We're $18.99. Brian, you can kill the stopwatch on that clip. Okay. They're turning the friggin' food game, says Alex friggin' Jones, bleepin' Jones. Ellen Ray has just become a member. What's up, Ellen? Welcome to the family. April Christian, $4.99. Lemon Character, blowing a party horn. What's up, April? Thank you for that. Tom B420, thanks so much, Gary, for your time and work. And 3 for Life, thank you. And Tony Leitner, $2. I appreciate all you do keeping us informed. Thank you. No, thank you. And we have Mongoose, who just dropped 10 new memberships gifts to Michael and Dalek and Chris and Kim and Kathy and Vicky, AJ's Suburban Homes. We got Christy Wolf, Crafty Wolf, Care D, KC Carpenter, and then Craig also gifting 5 memberships to Do Some Diff, Horse Sense, Christy Kine, Hugh Jasshole. Really, dude? Really, dude? Yeah. That's who just got, Huge Asshole just got a gift. So, big shout out to Huge Asshole. Hugh Jasshole. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. I feel like I'm watching The Simpsons. Lilac Dreams, Alex Bleepin Jones, they turned the food gay. Ellen Ray. I'm eating no-see-ums. Okay, let's get to our next topic. You guys, I know, see, that's the thing. It's random. And Hugh Jasshole just became a member by a gift. Random act of kindness. Oh my god. Oh, it's total darkness behind me now. You don't get to see it. The sunset's totally gone. Okay, yeah, you guys are having a blast in the chat room now. All right, let's go. Remember last week when the mainstream media was practically doing victory laps, claiming Elon Musk was leaving the Department of Government Efficiency? Well, of course, that was fake news. Vice President JD Vance just confirmed what we knew all along. Elon isn't going anywhere, and the war on government waste, well, it's just getting started. The left is in absolute meltdown mode. Why? Because DOGE has already slashed $130 billion in wasteful spending. That's money that was going to bureaucratic pet projects, diversity consultants, and foreign aid boondoggles. Now it's staying in American pockets where it belongs. And they've only just scratched the surface of the swamp's financial filth. It's not about politics anymore. This is about a corrupt system that's been stealing from taxpayers for decades while delivering nothing in return. And now there's nowhere to hide. Elon Musk is shining a spotlight on every dark financial corner of our bloated federal government. We've got all the details in this special report. And speaking of government efficiency, you know, it's incredibly inefficient pain. It drains productivity, wastes your time, costs the economy billions. That's why I'm excited about Canoladyne. It's a revolution for pain management as Elon's DOGE is for government waste. And just as DOGE identified $130 billion in wasteful spending, Canoladyne targets the exact source of pain rather than masking symptoms. While bureaucrats fight to protect their wasteful programs, Big Pharma fights to keep you dependent on their addictive painkillers. But Canoladyne, just like DOGE, cuts through the waste with 100% drug-free relief that activates your body's natural painkillers. It's American innovation at its finest, efficient, effective, and free from corruption. Try it for less than $1 a day at trycano.com/NNN. Okay, let's go right now to Tom McCullough on the scene, breaking the news about what JD Vance just said, torching the fake news about Elon Musk.
To both the president and... Hey guys, I'm Tom McCullough, Next News Network White House correspondent. I'm reporting live from the White House. So rumors are swirling about Elon Musk stepping away from his government role, but Vice President JD Vance just dropped a major reality check. He's setting the record straight, doubling down on Musk's mission and revealing the massive corruption still plaguing Washington. Let's check it out. There's a cool clip on this.
I want to get to some other news because there were some reports that came out that Elon Musk is leaving. Now, of course, the president had already said he was only going to be here for a temporary basis. Yeah. Tell us about that. DOGE will continue after Elon Musk. Will he still be an advisor to you and the president? I know y'all have a great relationship. Tell us about it.
Well, first of all, that report I saw was total fake news. Yeah. Elon came in and we said, we need you to make government more efficient. We need you to shrink the incredible, vast bureaucracy that thwarts the will of the American people, but also costs way too much money. And we said that's going to take about 6 months. And that's what Elon signed up for. But of course, he's going to continue to be an advisor. And by the way, the work of DOGE is not even close to done. The work of Elon is not even close to done. You look at all of the fraudulent grants that they found. You look at people who are 150 years old, who are fraudulently collecting Social Security payments. You see our Social Security system, 40% of the people who are calling in are actually committing fraud. That means the 60% who need their Social Security checks are waiting in line. DOGE has got a lot of work to do. And yeah, that work's going to continue after Elon leaves, but fundamentally, Elon is going to remain a friend and an advisor of both me and the president, and he's done a lot of good things. People don't realize how vast and uncontrolled the bureaucracy was. We've started to chip away at it, but there's a lot of work to do. It's not going to happen all in 6 months. It's going to take a long and committed effort.
So you just heard it straight from the source. JD Vance is calling out the media, saying the reports of Elon Musk leaving government role are, in his words, fake news. So let's be clear about what's happening. Elon Musk wasn't hired to shake hands and pose for pictures. He was brought in by President Trump to do one thing: take a sledgehammer to the bloated, unaccountable bureaucracy that's been bleeding taxpayers dry for not just decades, generations. 6 months. That's what Musk signed up for, a temporary mission to make the federal government more efficient, cheaper, and finally answerable to we, the people. But as Vance made crystal clear, just because a formal assignment ends doesn't mean Musk is out. He's been staying on as a personal advisor to both the president and to Vance. Now here's where it gets serious. JD Vance mentioned that some jaw-dropping facts should have every American on edge. Social Security fraud is so rampant that 40% of calls into the system are from scammers. Like, let that sink in. Almost half the people contacting Social Security are committing fraud. Meanwhile, the elderly and disabled, the people who actually need help, are stuck in line waiting for hours. And it gets worse. Vance says DOGE investigators found people over 150 years old still collecting benefits. And that's not a glitch. That's a scheme. One thing that's been ignored for decades by the same bureaucrats Elon Musk was sent in to root out. This is the deep state in plain sight, folks. The endless maze of government waste, fake grants, phony benefits, and political protection. And now thanks to Trump, thanks to Musk, thanks to Vice President Vance, it's finally being exposed. So the message tonight is simple. The work is far from over, but it has started, and that's something we hadn't seen in years until President Trump returned to the White House. So again, no, Elon Musk isn't leaving, he's evolving. We're going to have an evolved Elon Musk. From inside bulldozer to outside strategist, from 6-month fixer to long-term advisor. And he's most importantly still helping out President Trump deliver on his promise to do what? Put America first. And again, guys, I'm Tom McCullough, reporting from the White House for the Next News Network. God bless. Hey.
Just kicking the fake news to the curb. They want you to think that Elon is long gone. No, he'll be there working. He does have an expiration date, though, but they're trying to amplify the reality of it. Okay, DOGE just canceled a $3.4 million consulting contract for aviation advisors in Kenya. Yeah, aviation advisors in Kenya. $3.4 million. Your money. What? Imagine if that money went to hurricane victims in North Carolina or homeless veterans. Oh, you want to see the receipts? Here they are. Support professional consulting services in Kenya. What the hell? Why? Aviation advisors. We need aviation advisors in Kenya. Why would we have to pay for that? Yeah, someone's getting rich. What's this? Counterintuitive. She needs DOGE when you bring outside consultants to help. What? Seriously? What? What? Oh, wow. Yeah. That's what it looks like at the government. Another Tesla vandal caught on camera, apparently. Make her famous. Let's take a look. Oh. Typical. Yep. Oh, wow. I mean, can you really scratch a Cybertruck, though? I mean, those things are bulletproof. I guess you probably could. But, I mean, typical. What is that? Probably has their pronouns emblazoned on their neck. Beautifully tie-dyed hair. Black clothing. Probably on multiple SSRIs. And watches MSNBC and goes to local Soros rallies. Yeah, I think we just diagnosed that one pretty clear. Let's keep going. Beware those opposing Elon Musk and DOGE's probe into government waste. The simple mind just want to fit in. Cluelessly chanting, Orange man bad, Elon bad. The sad, jealous ones have abandoned their dreams, resenting the successful and screaming, tax the rich. What is up with this person?
Part of something. You should be suspicious of anyone who doesn't want Elon Musk and DOGE to look into government waste. The simple, the sad, and the sneaky. Simple-minded people just want to have a conversation and be a part of something, and they have really no clue about what's going on, but they know Orange Man bad and Elon bad, so they throw out comments and just try to basically fit in. Those people are whatever. The sad people are the ones that have given up on any idea that they will ever reach financial success themselves. The people that hate other people that have reached more success than them. These are the people that are screaming, tax the rich. They are jealous. They have quit on any possible idea of ever reaching their dreams, so they aim to shit on other people's. I mean, the goal should be that you would be in a tax bracket that you would have to pay taxes. That should be your goal. You should be grinding every single day to reach that goal, if that's what you want, to have money. But for whatever reason, these people have quit on that goal. They're lazy, they're jealous, whatever. Those people have a serious problem with Elon Musk only because he is wealthy and they are jealous. The sneaky people have a problem with Elon Musk investigating government waste because they have already made their money and they have made it by nefarious means. They don't want anybody investigating how they got their fucking money. So they're going to rally the poorest together and convince them to vote for policies that are going to make it increasingly more difficult for them to ever be able to reach that level of wealth. Of course, they're going to vilify this guy. Government has been printing money and wasting our tax dollars ever since it has existed. And now someone has come in and wants to hold these people accountable, and everybody is sad and angry about it. And look what they're doing now. I mean, really, pay attention. Just last year, they were telling you to go buy Teslas left and right to save the world, to save the planet. They were telling you to go buy Teslas. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Love you. Bye.
At first, I wasn't sure where this person was going. And then I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, dude, she's on point, for real. Here's another one we've got for you. Federal spending is still rising despite $130 billion savings from DOGE. Media's cackling. But what's driving it is Joe Biden's inflation, Joe Biden's debt interest, and Joe Biden's budget. What's this all about?
Based on Treasury data reported, federal spending is still rising despite $130 billion in savings from the Department of Government Efficiency. How do we stop this train? Last week, the Hamilton Project, which tracks government spending based on Treasury data, reported the federal government has spent $1.91 trillion so far in calendar 2025, which is approximately $100 billion more than it spent last year. Legacy Media was positively giddy. MarketWatch crowd, quote, despite Elon Musk's promises, Trump's spending is on pace to surpass Biden levels. Of course, the truth is all of this is inherited from Washington's drunkest sailor, that very same Joe Biden. So about 60 of the $100 billion is inflation. Joe left us with over 3% inflation last year. Another 12 is interest on the debt, thanks to Biden giving us over $2 trillion in new debt last year. Still, that leaves Trump spending $28 billion more than Joe Biden. Of course, there's a very good reason for that. This is Joe Biden's budget. So the way...
Yeah. So we're still feeling the effects of Joe Biden's policies, despite the fact that DOGE is working overtime to rein in some of that federal spending. It's going to take some time for it all to settle in. So let's give him some grace. Okay, we're still dealing with the aftershocks of that disastrous 4 years of, potato brain running this country. Barely running this country. Raise your hand if you hit that like if you are ready for Elon Musk and DOGE to start going after corrupt swamp creatures like Pelosi, Schumer, McConnell, Obama, AOC, Sanders, and Hill and Hillary Clinton. Oh, I'm down for that.
Mitch McConnell, I would like a show of hands and likes. Who is ready for DOGE to go after these crooked ass career politicians like Nancy Pelosi? Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer, AOC, Bernie Sanders, Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. I'm sure there's more. And probably more Republicans too. I don't care. Go after all of them. Let's go.
Let's go.
I would like a show.
Yeah, my hand is up high, girl. I know you guys are all agreeing with me here. Oh, here we have another Tesla vandal caught. Oh boy, really? Are you with your kids, lady? Oh wow, how disgusting. Hold on, kids. Oh my, oh wow. Holy cow. Oh, and she had a badge on her waist. Did you see that? How stupid are these people? What? I mean, okay, look. I mean, she's coming up with her kids. All right, we gotta make this. Let's make her famous, guys. Let's go full screen. Look at that. Oh, bing. Oh man, dude, I know we got a high resolution somewhere of this. Look at it. She's even training her kids. Training her kids. Oh yeah, just flick off the camera. They know the camera's there. They don't even care. That's how shameless these people are. Unbelievable. Wow. Look at what this woman is teaching her kids and her fupa too, man. Unbelievable. These people are just twisted, demented souls. Oh, it's so sad to witness. Okay, guys, so make her famous. Screenshot it. Let's see what people are saying on the comments here. Do we have the actual... let's see. Wait, come on. Here it is. Let's see what people are saying. Okay, they are going to find her now. Looks like they did a retouch of her face. Let's see if anyone's got anything else. Pretty sure this is the Giovanni's parking lot off Lexington and Gray Fox next to Cub Foods. Okay, so it looks like they have the location, theoretically. And again, there's the stupid lady carrying her badge. Ugh. Wanted for private property destruction. These people are so stupid. This woman says, I know her and her family. Boston Scientific ID badge, just a guess, since Arden Hills. Great parenting. Yeah, I agree. There we have it. There's that kid. Where'd she learn how to draw a swastika so fast? Oh, I'm sure they know who she is, and her children are Arden Hills. Not very big. That's weird that their name isn't being published anywhere. She hasn't been arrested. I'm positive they know who this is. Parent of the Year. Wow. So this is going to be a thread to watch for sure, especially this moron wearing a badge. Oh, wow. Okay, what else we got here? Wow. Go Doge, go.
Used for United States Institute of Peace deleted an entire terabyte of data linking them to the funding of Taliban and Iraqi leaders before DOGE could get in and take a look. Turns out the DOGE team was able to recover the information, though, because according to Elon, these people don't understand technology. Management was sweeping excess funds into its own private endowment with zero congressional oversight. Most of that money was used for private events and travel, DOGE tells us, including private aviation services. DOGE canceled a whole bunch of garbage contracts there, including one for $2.2 million to its own outside accountant, who's apparently the one who attempted to delete the data that just got recovered. Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, this is only the beginning. So the simple-minded critics are chanting Elon bad because they can't handle the truth. They've abandoned their own dreams of success, so they scream, tax the rich, instead of working to build something great. It's pathetic, but it's also dangerous. These are the same people vandalizing Teslas in Minnesota because they have no actual arguments left. Meanwhile, the silent majority is cheering as DOGE cuts through decades of waste. And the battle is just beginning. As one put it, raise your hand if you're ready for Elon and DOGE to go after the swamp creatures like Pelosi, McConnell, Schumer, Obama, AOC, Bernie, and the Clintons. Patriots, those hands are flying up across America. So ask yourself, why is the establishment so terrified of financial transparency? What are they hiding in those budgets? And who's been getting rich off of all the government inefficiency all these years? Support the war on waste with your very own Next News t-shirt, the MAGA Avengers featuring Elon Musk and Ron Paul. You'll find it linked down below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, let's keep going. Saifu Mech dropping $2. Thank you for that. Super support. We got more news to get to tonight. All right. Oh, yeah, baby. This is wild, man. This is wild. Okay. When Donald Trump promised to drain the swamp, the establishment laughed. Well, they're not laughing anymore. Laura Loomer walked into the Oval Office with what she called a binder of receipts, detailed evidence of disloyalty within the National Security Council. And within hours, 3 NSC staffers were fired. This isn't reality TV. This is the real-world consequence of betraying the America First agenda. And according to multiple sources, including Axios and CBS News, Loomer presented Trump with evidence that several NSC staffers were actively undermining his policies. These weren't just policy disagreements, they were deliberate acts of sabotage from within. And Trump didn't hesitate, he cleaned house immediately. Now remember what happened during Trump's first term? Constant leaks, anonymous sources. The resistance inside the administration will not this time. The president is sending a crystal clear message. Get on board with America First or get out of the White House. Now, President Trump just purged traitors from his National Security Council. I've got all the details. Wait till you see what happened. But what about the traitors hiding in your own body? Just like Laura Loomer exposed disloyal staffers with her binder of receipts, our friends at Sculpt Nation have identified a common food that's betraying your testosterone levels from within. It's not junk food or sugar, it's something you've been told is healthy. This infiltrator devastates your hormones, zapping your energy and strength, just like the deep state operatives sabotaging our government. The parallel striking. Both operate in secret while causing massive damage. But there's hope. Just as Trump immediately fired the NSC traitors, you can eliminate this testosterone-killing food from your diet. Sculpt Nation's clients who've done so are building muscle, burning fat, and regaining their energy. Identify your body's hidden enemy at sculptnation.com/NNN. It's linked down below. Okay, this was big news that just broke at the White House just a few hours ago. Tom McCullough was there on the scene as it happened. Check this out.
These are focused on... Hey guys, it's Tom McCullough, White House correspondent for the Next News Network, and I'm reporting directly from the heart of the swamp, but the one that Trump is quickly draining. So, just in, 2 senior Biden holdovers have just been fired from the National Security Council, confirming what investigative reporter Laura Loomer has been sounding the alarm for on months. And yes, Laura Loomer was just here at the White House.
National Security Council, what are we learning about that? What we've learned is that at least 3 NSC staffers have been let go so far, and it sounds like more firings are coming. This is happening after the president met yesterday with Laura Loomer, who is a right-wing personality. She does not have a role in this White House, but she's a sometime travel companion of President Trump. She came here to the White House yesterday, sat down with him.
She's a right-wing personality. Ooh, right-wing. Yeah.
And according to sources who spoke to Margaret Brennan and to Jennifer Jacobs, she presented President Trump with opposition research on NSC staffers who she considers either not sufficiently loyal or as having neoconservative views. And the firing took place after that. And these are not just minor staffers. By the way, Liz, these are Brian Walsh. He's a senior director for intelligence at the NSC. The senior director for legislative affairs at the NSC was let go as well. And again, we are expecting that these firings are not over yet.
So that's confirmation straight from the source. 2 top-level Biden-era officials inside the National Security Council gone. The senior director of intelligence and the senior director for legislative affairs both removed. And according to insiders close to the situation, the purge is not over. Now, here's where it gets even more important. Laura Loomer, the same journalist who's been publicly exposing these embedded Biden loyalists, was just seen at the White House days ago. She was mocked for calling out the deep state. She was ridiculed for demanding accountability, but she was right. And now she's inside advising, informing, and finally being heard. And this is no coincidence. Her reporting has been laser focused on one thing, getting rid of the corrupt insiders who used the Biden for years to burrow deep inside the federal government, especially within the NSC, one of the most powerful and hidden agencies in D.C. And now we're seeing the result. These weren't low-level desk jockeys, these were gatekeepers, people controlling intelligence flow, legislation strategy, and foreign policy recommendations. Biden's people still in place, still pulling strings until now. That is exactly what President Trump promised to do in the second term, clean house, strip away the layers of unaccountable bureaucracy, and restore the power of the government to we, the people, not the political ruling elite class. And let's be honest, this purge wouldn't be happening if Trump wasn't back in the Oval Office. It is a direct result of his leadership, his agenda, and his willingness to surround himself with people who tell the truth. So Laura Loomer, she did warn us. She named names, she stood her ground, and now she's been proven right, one firing at a time. So this is what America First looks like, guys, not just in speeches, but in literal action. The swamp didn't drain itself. Trump is literally draining it. I could feel the suction, and the deep state is finally on the defense. Again, guys, Tom McCullough reporting from the White House.
Thank you for that, Tom. Oh, and guess what? Apparently, Tim Young writes, I did not have CNN reporting on Laura Loomer's reporting on my 2025 bingo card. I love how angry Caitlin Collins is here. Oh, wow. And then we've actually got Laura Loomer in her own words. We'll bring that up in just a moment. But let's relish in this moment from CNN for a second, shall we?
Including Vance, the times that he disagreed with it. Anyway, but on this, it is important to note that Laura Loomer is driving this. She is a far-right activist. She is someone who said, that if Vice President Harris won the White House during the election, that it would smell like curry. Those were comments that were denounced by Republican allies of the president, including Vance, the times that he disagreed with it. And so she is the one who's really driving this, and it speaks to the level of influence that
And
she
let's
has.
talk about the impact on
Well,
national.
let's talk about curry, though. I mean, isn't Kamala Harris Indian? Isn't that one of their main dietary ingredients? I mean, is she wrong? I mean, come on, guys. I mean, talk about fake news, right?
National security, who they are, and why this matters so much for how the national security of the United States of America is run and who's doing it.
Well, what's fascinating about this is that the 3 staffers that have been fired here are outside of Washington Beltway national security circles. These are pretty anonymous people. They are foreign policy minds that have serious resumes, that have worked serious jobs on Capitol Hill, in the State Department, in think tanks. You know, these are people that are well known in national security circles because they are longtime practitioners of foreign policy, experienced in making that kind of policy. These are the people that are sort of engaged in the nitty-gritty of actually designing national security policy for the president. But they're not big public figures. You know, they're people like Brian Walsh.
Okay, so she says they're not big public figures. And that's exactly how the deep state operates. These are people that you have no idea who their names are. They operate in the shadows, inside the halls of power. But guess what? Laura Loomer figured out who they were, did some due diligence, Oppo research, brings it to Trump, and what does he do? He says, "You're fired." Right? Boom. Let's hear Laura Loomer in her own words.
We do see a lot of, I just think that there needs to be more appreciation demonstrated to Trump loyalists because unfortunately, we do see a lot of gatekeeping in the GOP. And the thing that I harped on the most during the campaign season was, you know, the importance of vetting. We need to vet people so that we don't have the same nightmare that we saw happen in the first administration, where people who are disloyal to President Trump curry favor once the election's over, after, you know, shit talking him the entire election season, and then they just get to go, oh, you know what, I'm gonna sneak in and I'm gonna reap all the benefits and the glory and the praise of getting a White House job.
Sure.
I thought that we were keeping a binder full of receipts. I don't know if some of the people on the campaign meant it when they said they were keeping the receipts, but I meant it.
Yeah.
I literally have a binder of receipts, and I know who's loyal and I know who is disloyal. I just think that...
Yeah, and she brought that binder in. Buzz Patterson, fire the leakers and keep it going. Quote tweeting Alex Stone, President Trump has just fired 3 White House national security staffers after meeting with Laura Loomer yesterday. White House officially fires 3 NSC staffers after Trump meets far-right activist Laura Loomer. And okay, we have, this is a CBS, ABC News. Oh, ABC News is freaking out, of course.
A handful of, and we have more breaking news. Sources tell ABC News the White House has fired a handful of national.
We have more breaking news. Laura Loomer showed up at the White House. Now people are fired. Breaking news. Far-right extremist shows up at the White House. Oppo research. Breaking news. Shut.
Security Council staffers. Sources say the decision came after President Trump met with far-right activist Laura Loomer, who made the recommendations on who to fire. Senior reporter Catherine Falder's here with more on that. Catherine, what more can you tell us about these firings?
Yeah, Catherine. Can you tell us how right-wing Laura Loomer is, please? Can you tell us how evil she is, please? I mean, you guys are the mainstream media, after all. Please tell us. Let's see. Roll tape.
So we know that a handful of National Security Council staffers have been told that they no longer work at the NSC. Now, this comes, of course, as Laura Loomer, you just mentioned there, the far-right political activist, had a meeting with Donald Trump in the Oval Office yesterday. This meeting occurred before Trump made his announcement on tariffs. And at that meeting, at least we're told by sources, were the Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, the Vice President, Laura Loomer, of course, and President Trump. Now, Loomer has made significant staffing recommendations to Donald Trump on who she believes should be working in the White House at the NSC. So the timing of this is quite interesting. That just a day after that meeting, this happens. And of course, her biggest concern and complaint, frankly, has been that she doesn't believe that there are people working at the National Security Council who are aligned with President Trump's agenda. Now, the timing also comes as we have been talking a lot about Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, and his use of Signal. Now, it doesn't appear that Loomer's meeting and Waltz and the use of Signal are correlated in any way. I'm sure.
She just had to throw that in there, though. Signal. Yeah, this comes at the same time, the Signal thing with Mike Waltz. But clearly there was no correlation. But I just want to bring that up to keep it top of mind so we can keep that narrative going. Yeah. I mean, she literally says there's no correlation, but then why bring it up? See? That's fake news. Fake news right there. Resist the mainstream. Trump fires 3 National Security Council staffers after meeting with Laura Loomer. The move comes a day after a Wednesday Oval Office meeting where she argued several staffers were not committed to Trump's agenda. Here we have more. Dustin Mills. Laura Loomer met Wednesday with Trump in the Oval Office, pressed him to fire national security staffers. Trump may act on some of Loomer's recommendations. She walked into the White House. Right on, Laura. Right on. Oh, we have more. What is this? This is more from CNN.
Of national security.
What are you learning?
I mean, the media is hyperventilating that Laura Loomer has the president's ear. God bless her, man. God bless her.
Well, as you said, Wolf, the White House has fired at least 3 members of the National Security Council, all staff of National Security Advisor Michael Waltz. And it does come after that Oval Office meeting yesterday between President Trump and Laura Loomer, as you mentioned, a far-right activist. She's someone who has once claimed that 9/11 was an inside job. I'd note that they've had a close relationship in the past, but there's many people who are also very close to the president who have, in the past, urged him to distance himself from her. But look, Loomer, we are told, went into that Oval Office with a list.
Look at the picture they chose of her. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, be careful what she said about 9/11, right?
For the president, essentially arguing that many different members of the National Security Council were not loyal to the president. I was told that these 3 different firings were a direct result of what Loomer had told the president, what she had divulged to him during that meeting. The 3 officials who we know who are fired, but again, this is at least 3, include Brian Walsh. He's a director for intelligence. He's also a top staffer, or was a top staffer for now Secretary of State Marco Rubio, but for when he was a senator. Also, Thomas Boudry, a senior director for legislative affairs who previously worked in Waltz's congressional office. And then also David Feith, the senior director overseeing technology and national security. Now, of course, we have to note as well that this all comes after there's been a lot of scrutiny of National Security Advisor Michael Waltz following his role in creating that signal chain, the story that really
Of course, they got to bring it up here, too. You see what they're doing? They keep planting these narrative seeds, trying to connect the dots where there are none. The last clip, she said, but there's no connection at all here. Let's see if she says the same thing.
Up last week, we know that behind the scenes there's been a lot of frustration, including from President Donald Trump himself, with Waltz and some of the handling of that. So there could be more firings. We know that there's been some tension as well with Waltz's deputy, Alex Wong. We are told as of now he is not among, or we believe he is not among those who were fired. But more of this could definitely come following that meeting yesterday.
Good. Fire them all. Fire them all, man. Okay, so literally, Buzz Patterson put it perfectly. Fire the leakers and keep it going. That's exactly what's happening. This is precision loyalty warfare, and it's long overdue. For too long, the administrative state has operated as a 4th branch of government, unelected, unaccountable, and actively hostile to the will of the American people. As you saw, Overton News called it exactly right. President Trump is protecting his agenda. Because that's what this is about. Not personalities, not politics, it's about policy. The American people voted for border security, economic nationalism, and America First foreign policy. And now, anyone standing in the way is getting removed. So here's the question every American should be asking. Why were disloyal operatives placed in sensitive national security positions to begin with? Who put them there? What damage did they already do before being exposed? Drop a comment below. Support our coverage of the deep state purge with your Next News gear, available at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. All right. Let's go. Catherine says, ASE, stop swearing. You are better than that. Who's ASE? Yeah, I try not. Me personally, I try not to swear. Sometimes it happens, and sometimes I will mute myself if I feel a naughty word coming out. My apologies. Sometimes my emotion gets the best of me. Okay, so let's keep going. We got our final topic of the night, and just a reminder, friends, we will not have a show tomorrow. I've got to pack up all this stuff, and I've got to get it all shipped back. Like, dude, you guys have no idea what it took to put this out here. I mean, half of my equipment didn't even show up. That's how bad it was. And then I had to I'm literally like shopping on Amazon for equipment in the middle of the night, trying to make sure that it gets here in time, then chasing the packages when they get here, then hoping I got all the pieces of the puzzle, because I didn't even know what was in that second box to begin with. So let's just through process of elimination, I had to figure it all out, got all the pieces, put it together, and now I've got to box it all back up, send it back to the studio in DC, and pray it all gets there. So that's where we are. Okay, one deplorable. She needs to go in there and get those FBI whistleblowers. By the way, Gary, I love how you censor yourself from swearing. Thanks, man. All right. Okay, we got to get to the news. We got news. Anyway, I just want to give you guys that your volume's very high, feed volume very low. Please fix it. That's the problem with this mobile setup, is we don't have a preamp, or we've got to find a better way to. It's a little bit more difficult because we're using mobile equipment, and like the phone feed has to go into the show feed in a certain way, and there's no real way to split that and bring it back in without having even more equipment on hand. It's just the way it is. Okay. Yeah, we don't have a CNN budget. And we only received $30 in chat revenue today. Okay. I love you guys. All right. Biden clips in the next topic. Okay. Ready, Brian? Ladies and gentlemen, the biggest political scandal in American history is unfolding before our very eyes. Ron Klain, Biden's former chief of staff, has confirmed what we've been saying for years. Joe Biden was never mentally fit to serve as president. They literally called it Operation Bubble Wrap, a systematic effort to shield Biden from stress, limit his public appearances, and hide his deteriorating mental condition from the American people. And according to the Megyn Kelly show, Biden would literally fall asleep during debate prep. His handlers had to wake him up. They restricted his schedule, limited his interactions, and constructed an elaborate facade of competence around a man who was, in Klain's own words, out of it. This wasn't just spin or public relations. This was a deliberate deception of the American people. So the question that Thomas Hearn asked cuts to the core. Who in the heck was running the country if the president's mental acuity was in question? Well, the answer is chilling. Unelected Democrat operatives were making decisions that affected every American's life. Well, Biden needed Operation Bubble Wrap to hide his cognitive decline. Chuck Norris, 84, is sharper and more energetic than ever. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Biden's handlers had to wake him up during debate prep and shield him from public view, while Chuck Norris is kicking and training and staying more mentally alert than men half his age. Well, what's the secret? Unlike the Biden administration's massive cover-up, Operation Chuck discovered a simple, honest approach to maintaining peak mental and physical performance. He identified 3 factors that sabotage our cognitive health as we age, and he eliminated them. His wife tried the same method, feels a decade younger. No handlers, no bubble wrap, no deception, just real results. So if you want to say mentally sharp and physically capable instead of needing your own Operation Bubble Wrap, visit chuckdefense.com/next. It's linked down below. And we thank Chuck Norris for sponsoring the Next News Network. Let's get into it. So who was really running the country? Biden mentally gone. Now it's all unraveling. And guess who was there on the scene when all this news was breaking today? Our own Tom McCullough outside the White House. Listen.
Hey everybody, it's Tom McCullough, White House correspondent with the Next News Network, reporting from the White House front lawn today. So tonight, two powerful clips are raising a question no one in the media wanted to ask during the Biden years. Who was actually running the country? We begin with a brutal takedown of the entire cover-up operation surrounding Joe Biden's mental health during his term. Let's check this out.
And so should his advisors. I mean, talk about a big cover-up. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Donald Trump lately. I just want to ask a simple question. Who in the heck was running the country? If the president's mental acuity was in question and some days he's on and some days he's off, was the guy really capable of doing the job day to day? I honestly really question that. And I think a lot of Democrats who said at the time, oh, Joe Biden is the fittest guy in the world. He could do backflips. He could jump into the pool, run marathons, do 100 push-ups. When every freaking person who saw Joe Biden said, there's no in hell this guy is physically fit. But they told us, don't believe your lying eyes because we're with him every single day. That wasn't true.
One more piece,
it wasn't true.
Just so people understand it.
So that wasn't just speculation. That was a direct challenge to the lie we were all sold, that Joe Biden was fit, sharp, and fully in control. Democrats told us that he could run marathons. The media told us he was more energetic than ever. And yet the American people saw the truth. Every stumble, every slurred sentence, every blank stare, we watched it in real time. But they told us to ignore our eyes. That's not politics, that's gaslighting. And here's the kicker. It wasn't just voters noticing. Insiders inside the White House are now writing tell-alls. They're admitting Biden was mentally shot from day one. As one viral tweet put it, everything but the Republican Party was saying about that Biden was 100% accurate and true. The inner circle writing tell-alls about Biden being mentally shot from day one. Democrat operatives were running the country. Now, we already knew that, but here's a reminder of just how checked out Joe Biden really was. If you thought the cover-up was bad, watch this and tell me if this man was ever fit to lead. He's going to do the stare. Check it out.
And I sold a lot of state secrets and a lot of very important things that we shared.
So that was the President of the United States on camera saying he sold state secrets. Whether it was a joke or not, it shows you everything you need to know. The man was not in charge. He wasn't capable of leading, and the people who were supposed to serve the country, they were busy running interference while unelected Democrat operatives pulled the strings behind the curtain. Ever see Wizard of Oz? And now the truth is spilling out. President Trump warned this would happen. He said that Biden was just a puppet, and now that Trump's back in office, that's truth that is finally being confirmed, not just by Republicans, but by the very people who worked in the West Wing under Joe Biden. This wasn't just incompetence. This was a national security risk, a fraud on the American people, and every corrupt insider who propped up that charade is going to be exposed. And I'm standing right next to where the West Wing is. I'm going to just pan the camera off. So literally behind those doors right there is where Joe Biden lied to the American people. And in the other side where you just saw me, where the press room was, that is exactly where the media spun the lies to feed the American people garbage to try to prop up their fake puppet of a leader. Again, I'm Tom McCullough, White House Next News Network correspondent. God bless you.
You know, it blows my mind when we think about exactly like the reality of where Tom is standing. Like, that is where all the lies and the fabrication, the misdirection, the gaslighting all occurred. And now we're there, we're on site, and we're correcting the narrative, we're exposing it all. Oh my God, thank God Donald Trump won. So we've got more. Okay. What about the Guardian article about your diaper-wearing Joey Biden? Ron Klain's upcoming book tells the backstory of the hiding of Biden's mental condition and how they hid it so he wasn't actually president, and the balls you have to talk about security concerns. Yeah, they're talking. Whoever this Joe person is, Joe from Jers, the guy bankrupted a casino. Okay, yeah, they're trying to trash Donald Trump while still running cover for their own puppet in chief. Here is. We also have this. Check this out. Did you hear about this? New York City Mayor Eric Adams officially leaving the Democrat Party today. Wow. Yeah, another walk away right there, leaving the Democrat Party. Welcome home. Liberals are furious with the New York City Mayor Eric Adams after he told Andrew Schultz that Trump derangement syndrome, or TDS, is real. Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, I keep saying this, and people don't like it. They get upset. You know, the Trump derangement syndrome is real.
Yeah.
You can hate someone so much that even if they do something
You're
right,
blind to it.
right?
Yeah.
You know that, and you can like or dislike Elon, but you don't have any right blowing up someone's Tesla.
Right, exactly.
You don't have any
breaking the law,
right.
yeah.
I mean, who do you
Simple as
think
that.
you are?
Yeah.
You know, you don't have any right going in and destroying.
They drew a dick on his Tesla.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah,
That was,
you understand what
I
I'm
shouldn't have
saying?
did that. A white dick too, small.
Yeah, small white dick.
But think about that.
Now, to be fair,
they should get 40 years.
But yeah, so that does happen.
That's the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
When you say, okay, I'm upset that you are doing DOGE and you're closing down jobs, but you know what? You should close down Tesla. What about those people that work there?
Dude, I literally said that. I was on this guy's podcast, and I was like, listen, I totally understand you, Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I was like, I totally understand that, like, you people who are critical of Elon, there's reasons to be critical. Everybody should have the freedom to be critical, right?
Right.
And I go, but hoping that Tesla shuts down,
right?
Like, I understand you're upset that people lost jobs. It doesn't improve the situation if you make more people lose jobs.
Right.
It is
He's
an
the
American
richest
car
guy.
company.
Right.
Yeah, he's the richest guy in the world. He's not. He's going to be okay.
Right.
He's not the one hurt.
Right.
The people
Right.
that work there. So you're upset these people lost jobs. You're like, I know the solution. More people lose jobs.
Think about it. And the thing.
Yeah, and that's how Trump derangement syndrome works. Elon derangement syndrome. Okay, here's more. Barry Fitzgerald. The truth about the Biden administration is finally revealed. Everything that the Republican Party was saying about Biden, 100% accurate and true. The inner circle writing tell-alls about Biden being mentally shot from day one. Democrat operatives were running the country. And who is this? Fires are chauvinist now? What's this? Oh, Mancow Mueller, 7 hours ago?
Forgive me if I get emotional. I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral. The degradation of ecosystems disproportionately impacts women and girls. And I am wildly emotional. I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral.
Oh, that was the greatest clip. That was the greatest clip in the history of clips ever made on the internet. Thank you, Mancow, for playing that.
I hope you'll forgive me if I get emotional. Climate emergencies are not gender neutral.
Climate emergencies are not gender neutral. Oh, man. Here we go. Here's the ex-Biden advisor, Ron Klain. Now says Biden was out of it prior to debating Trump. It is all coming out now, folks. Oh, wow.
His absolutely sharp fit on and was suffering from a cold that really constrained his voice and constrained his ability to be forceful in the debate. And he was trying not to lose his voice, which was very scratchy and very impacted by his cold. But the president is absolutely sharp, fit on top of his game.
What did you advise him to do?
You know, I had hoped he would stay in at RA. I thought that he, as he said in that remarks, I thought his record and his vision merited another term. And, you know, we've been on the Biden roller coaster up and down. He had lost in Iowa, lost in New Hampshire in 2020, went on to win the nomination, win the presidency. We've been in ups and downs in his presidency. So I thought this was another turn on the roller coaster. We should fight through it. And was suffering from a cold that really constrained it.
Oh, man. Let's keep going. There's Ron Klain right there. Megyn Kelly's show. It was literally called Operation Bubble Wrap to protect him from having meetings with anybody. We, the fifth, on the new book revealing how Biden fell asleep during debate prep. Oh, my. Here we go.
The new book, we have to start with Biden because this was not going to be our lead today, but this Guardian article is so juicy, we got to do it. So the Guardian got his hands on this new book. It just hit, shortly before we came out. And the new book takes a deep dive into what Joe Biden was like prior to his debate disaster and then thereafter. The name of the book, Uncharted, by some guy named Whipple, last name Whipple, Chris Whipple. He's a reporter. Okay, so Ron Klain is no underling. He's not like some no-name staffer. He was the chief of staff from 2021 to 2023 and then returned last June, again, not even a year ago, to run debate prep. So very clearly on the innermost Biden circle and somebody who they trusted. And I'll just give you the third paragraph of the Guardian piece. According to Klain, as reported by this book, Uncharted, it turned out Biden, quote, did not know what Trump had been saying and could not grasp what the back and forth was, left preparation for the debate and fell asleep instead by the pool, obsessed about foreign leaders, saying, quote, these guys say I'm doing a great job as president, so I must be a great president, end quote, has the ring of truth, quote, didn't really understand what his argument even was on inflation and had nothing to say about a second term other than finish the job and get off my damn lawn. Those two things were, no, I added the second one. And there's so many other juicy quotes in here. We'll go through it. But can I just get your initial reaction to Ron Klain laying it all out there, or at least most of it out there, to this reporter for his book? Anyone?
Ron Klain is one of the biggest modern villains in American politics, and this just underscores his absolute duplicity. He was described in a lot of reporting. Wall Street Journal was probably the best on this before it was popular to talk about Biden's, not just his cognitive decline, but the shrink wrap, the bubble wrap, Operation Bubble Wrap, it was literally called, to protect him from, having meetings with anybody. Ron Klain was the lead of that. He was described as having more power as a chief of staff than just about any modern chief of staff. He would run interference anytime someone dared suggest that Biden had any cognitive problems. And he was still saying this in August last year. He was complaining that they've been forced out Biden in August of last year and saying that.
Okay. It's all coming out, folks. We called it from, even before he became president. But now everyone is throwing him under the bus. And we got a little bit more from this. I'm going to cue it up for you right here.
You did a great job.
Yes.
I can't wait to read your book. Okay, here's more. As described by Klain to Chris Whipple, at one point, again, I'm quoting it from the Guardian piece, at one point, Biden had an idea. If he looked perplexed when Trump talked, voters would understand that Trump was an idiot. Klain allegedly replied to Joe Biden, sir, when you look perplexed, people just think you're perplexed. And this is our problem in this race. Now, who knows whether that's true? I've got questions whether he really said that to Joe Biden. Okay, there's more. Okay. The Whipple told Politico last week in an interview about his book, I happen to think that to call it a cover-up is simplistic. I think it was stranger and way more troubling than that. Biden's inner circle, his closest advisors, many of them, were in the fog of delusion and denial. They believed what they wanted to believe. They go on to talk about how even after the disastrous debate, according to Klain, to Whipple, Klain believed Biden should stay in the race, and then after he quit, that he should have stayed in the race. And they talk about, okay, this is the juicy part, the prep for the debate. At his first meeting with Biden in Aspen Lodge, the president's cabin, according to Whipple, Klain was startled. He had never seen him so exhausted and out of it. Biden was unaware of what was happening in his own campaign. Unaware. Halfway through the session, the president excused himself and went off to sit by the pool.
Right. Goals.
That evening, Biden met again with Klain and his team. Biden aides Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, and Bruce Reed. We sat around the table, said Klain. Biden had answers on cards, and he was just extremely exhausted. And I was struck by how out of touch with American politics he was. So out of touch with American politics, the sitting president of the United States.
Sitting president of the United States, absolutely clueless about American politics. I mean, talk about a rudderless ship. Zero leadership. A deep state swamp steering an empty vessel. I mean, do you realize how close we were to complete disaster in this country? President Trump is riding this ship of state faster than we can even see. We dodged a freaking bullet. I mean, and Trump literally dodged a bullet. Holy cow, man. I mean, we knew it was bad. We knew it was bad. Holy cow. You know, we could keep going on about this, but the fact is that we have a lot to be thankful for right now. So much to be thankful for in this country. People like Mayor Eric Adams seeing the light, joining the Republican Party. People, because like real common sense Democrats, they knew what was happening and they jumped ship. The Democrat Party has gone so far off the reservation that you've got orange-haired freaks keying bulletproof cars with cameras because they're pissed off because their Soros-funded operations are getting defunded. This is only the beginning. And I'm not surprised that books like this are coming out because everyone's trying to cover their ass. Because they don't want to be the next one that's going to be, on the chopping block when Pam Bondi finally starts forcing these people to do the perp walk. And I really hope that they do, because arrests need to be made. Okay, so this cover-up was ongoing. Biden caught on a hot mic admitting that he sold a lot of state secrets and very important things. Let that sink in. It's not just incompetence, it's potentially treason. And everyone around him knew exactly what was happening. Meanwhile, the Democrat Party implodes under the weight of these revelations. New York City Mayor Eric Adams left the party entirely, confirming Trump derangement syndrome is real, a psychological condition that blinds people to reality and forces them to increasingly deranged positions just to oppose Trump. So here's the brutal truth. America was subjected to a puppet presidency. Biden was the figurehead, but anonymous handlers were pulling the strings. So ask yourself, was this even constitutional? Was it even legal? And how many people must be held accountable for this massive fraud on the American people? Drop names below. Show your patriotism with Next News Network swag at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com and show the world you stand with real news. All right. Got some super chats here. Tom McCullough dropping in. What's up, Tom? Okay, Tony says, hope this helps. Thank you, Tony. Needs to go there, get those FBI whistleblowers. Gary, I love you. How you censor? Oh, yeah, okay. Evelyn Altman gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Evelyn. Nettie, GAB, and Christopher White and Huna. Also, and Tony dropping $5. Thank you. Sandra dropping $10. Thank you very much, Sandra. Craig, I will add to that. Anyone else? Thank you, Craig, for that. Thomas McCullough dropping $1.99. Show Gary some love, like and share. Thank you, Tom, for your workout in D.C. this week. Tom B420 dropping $5 in the jar. Robert Arias, great job. Thank you for that $5. Dale Val, another $5 plus 25% tariff for Gary. Last time you said, I guess I would accept my crappy loony. Canadian $5. I guess we'll take Canadian. Yeah. We got to put a tariff on that. And IB Rules $5. I wish I could do more. Thank you. Every dollar helps. Mark Severance, $1.99. Thank you for your support, sir. R. Boyd dropping $5. God, you guys are on a roll already. $5 from R. Boyd. Thank you for that, sir. Bababooey, take my money, he says. All right, our boy. Evelyn Altman just became a member, and just became a member, and just became a member 3 times over. I'm guessing she upgraded? Now you have access to see all the behind-the-scenes stuff. You can hang out with the folks in the Discord, in the chat. You get to know all the members on a more personal level. And yes, I do stop by from time to time. And David just gifted 1 Next News Network membership. Thank you, David, for that gift. I'm not sure who the recipient was just yet. Oh, Anita Moore. What's up, Anita? Anita Moore just receiving a gifted membership. All right. Well, this is the end of our week here at the Next News Network. We'll be back in the studio on Monday, and I gotta get all my stuff packed up as soon as I'm done here. I gotta break it all down, pack it up. So we don't really have much time to hang out here in the chat room tonight. But I want to thank everyone for supporting us, everyone for tuning in, everyone for sharing. That's it for tonight's Raw Feed, coming to you from the beautiful Gulf of America in Florida. Let me tell you, Patriots, what we covered tonight isn't just news. It's a fundamental transformation of America happening in real time, right before our eyes. President Trump's tariffs reshaping the global economy, putting American workers first, and closing the loopholes that foreign nations have exploited for decades. The economic earthquake triggered by the Liberation Day tariffs is just beginning to rumble, and those feeling the tremors most intensely are global scammers who've been fleecing our country for generations. Ford already offering employee pricing to all Americans because that's real change you can feel in your wallet. RFK Jr.'s health revolution, sending shockwaves through the corrupt pharmaceutical and food industries. 20,000 bureaucrats terminated. Health and Human Services transformed into the Administration for a Healthy America, a new food pyramid that actually prioritizes health over industry profits, and states now allowed to ban food stamps from being used on soda, a direct hit to the businesses that profit from making Americans sick. The Department of Government Efficiency continues to expose and eliminate waste, with Elon Musk firmly at the helm, despite the media's desperate fake news claiming otherwise. Vice President JD Vance confirmed that DOGE has already saved taxpayers $130 billion, and they're just getting started. The left's meltdown over financial transparency tells you everything you need to know. They're terrified of Americans seeing how their money has been wasted for decades. The purge of disloyal operatives within the National Security Council signals a new era of accountability in Washington. Laura Loomer's binder of receipts led to immediate action, with three NSC staffers fired within hours of her Oval Office meeting. This is the America First loyalty test in action, and it's long overdue. And perhaps most shocking, the revelation of Operation Bubble Wrap. The systematic cover-up of Biden's mental decline confirms what patriots have known all along. Joe Biden was never fit to serve as president. Ron Klain's admission that Biden was out of it, even as they claimed he was sharp and fit, exposes the greatest political fraud in American history. So I want to thank all of you who joined us tonight from across the nation and around the world. Your support makes this broadcast possible. Special thanks to everyone who sent in super chats and Rumble rants. We see you. We appreciate you, and we couldn't do this without you. $83.99, just shy of $100 tonight. Wouldn't that be nice? But 24 new members are here now. So if you found value in tonight's reporting, please consider becoming a supporter of independent journalism. Every dollar helps us continue our mission to bring you the truth the mainstream media won't touch. Visit the links in the description to donate or become a channel member with exclusive perks. And don't forget to check out our brand new merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Show the world where you get your real news with exclusive limited edition Next News swag. And remember to share the broadcast with friends and family. Text them the link right now. Follow us on Rumble and X to ensure you never miss a show. The algorithm cannot silence us if patriots spread the word directly. This is a pivotal moment in American history. The swamp is being drained. The corrupt are being exposed, and real change is happening. So stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay engaged, because together we are taking our country back. Thank you for joining us on the Raw Feed, live from Florida, as you hear the Gulf of America and its waves crashing behind me. I'm Gary Franchi. We'll see you next week.
a friend.